my Deasley. Damn. Get off my Deasley. Goddamn. Get off my Deasley. Damn. Get off my Deasley. Damn. Damn. Deasley. Damn. Damn. Deasley. Damn. Damn. Deasley.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here, and we got another video for you guys today. The media is starting to pick it up. The media is starting to say something about the left-wing radical violence that's going on in this country. A lot of people don't want to admit that that's what's going on. And like I said, if there was right-wing violence going on, I would gladly call it out, because we need to stop all the violence, period. But we have to make it obviously clear that this is left-wing radicalism. We're going to get into Tim Pool discussing this article that was posted by The Atlantic and why they believe that left-wing radical violence is on the rise. So let's get right into this video, man. Let's go.
I repeat, shocking article from The Atlantic. I can't believe I'm about to read these words from The Atlantic. Left-wing terrorism is on the rise. For the first time in more than 30 years, attacks by the far left outnumber those by the far right. I think I almost had a heart attack. And I have a strong heart.
It's incredible.
Well, we've all known this. Why are they finally admitting it?
Do you think that it's just gotten to the point where it's not it's undeniable now, where their credibility is in jeopardy because they refuse to admit it?
I think, you know what I think? I think that Trump won the popular vote. I think that I'm a fan of a bunch of, I don't want to call anybody out and drag them, but there are many people across various markets, we'll call it, that are default lib, not really political. And I have seen them over the years make, ish lib normie statements about politics, but they're not really ever doing it. Like they're not actively engaged in debate. They're not attacking people. They'll just post something where they're like, hey, we shouldn't do things like this, Black Lives Matter, whatever.
Platitudes?
Yeah, like the normie-ish lib, not really paying attention. These people that I follow, they have now met me. I have met them. They are posting in defense of Charlie Kirk. They are sending me texts saying, like, right on, brother. And that gives me hope. And I think now at The Atlantic, they recognized, when you've got a professional athlete who is no longer defending the activists on the left and is now actively defending Donald Trump, there is a culture shift happening, and we want to be on the right side of history. So The Atlantic writes this: no matter how hard ideologues try to exclusively blame their political foes for acts of political violence, the truth is that violent extremists today emerge from across the political spectrum. We have studied this problem and believe that our data can help illuminate an issue too often defined by partisan finger-pointing. They're correct. As part of a study to be published this week by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, we compiled and analyzed a data set of 750 attacks and plots in the United States from 94 to July 4th of 2025. Our research focuses only on incidents of terrorism, which we define as attacks or plots by a non-state actor attempting to achieve a political end and exert a psychological influence on a broad population. Among other details, the dataset includes the types of weapons used, the intended targets, the number of fatalities, and the ideology of the perpetrators. Oh, I guess we have to, I got to log in. We found that left-wing terrorism has increased since President Donald Trump's rise to political prominence in 2016. Indeed, 2025 marks the first time in more than 30 years that left-wing attacks outnumber those from the far right. Despite its recent increase, however, left-wing terrorism is not nearly as common today as it was in the 60s or early 70s.
And that's why I be trying to get across to some people that I know who are, on that side of the aisle, liberals or Democratic, people, socialists or whatever. It's like I said, I'm trying to get you guys to understand that it's been ramping up. Like, it's been getting worse. Like, what I'm saying? Like, yes, left-wing violence has not been one of the number one contributors of political violence in the last 30 years or so. But it has been getting a lot worse in the last couple of years, probably I would say the last 10 years. And it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And it's really been getting worse when Donald Trump's in office. You got people trying to assassinate him. He was almost assassinated twice, acknowledging the fact, we only have independent journalists nowadays who are going to actually acknowledge the fact, and the conservatives who preach on the media who will acknowledge the fact. But liberal minded people, they will choose to not group those people in with themselves. because they don't want to be associated with that group of people, but they have to take ownership of that also a part of their base too. Like that's a part of their group. Same way how they want to take ownership, or if they want the right wing to take ownership of, you know, all the right wing violence that goes on, and they want the conservatives to take ownership of all that stuff. Okay, we will, but the liberals need to take ownership of what they're doing as well. And I see a lot of Democrats and liberal-minded people who just don't want to take ownership of it. They're like, no, this is a crazy person. We disassociate with that. Take ownership of that. That's what you guys brew. That's what you guys poured in the cup. So, yeah.
Period with some right-wing terror. And I'm assuming a lot of that has to do with abortion clinics and things like that in the 90s.
You also had these kind of sovereign citizen people who were going and attacking kind of federal troops and FBI and things like that in the 90s. You know, you had the Oklahoma bombing, and was it the Waco thing as well?
Yeah, but Waco wasn't attacking anyone; they were attacked.
Yeah,
how's the government?
Second of all, like the way that they calculate a lot of the right wing attacks is they'll go and say there's some white nationalist that's involved in the drug trade, and he kills a guy that was involved with the drug trade that owed him money. They'll say that that's a right wing attack or whatever, even though it's not political, it's over drugs. And the same type of thing when it deals with white nationalists in jail, because prison gangs are very common, and a lot of white dudes get into gangs when they're in prison. And if a white guy kills another white guy because of whatever prison beef they have, they'll say that that is also a political attack, even though there's no politics involved. It just so happens that these people were involved in white nationalism somehow.
I've got it. Yeah, right. And from that point, let's debunk. I can't believe I'm saying this about an article that I actually like the headline on, but I got to debunk this. They say, a major shift in politics, however, can cause the losing side to become more combative. Just as Trump's election led to a rise in left-wing violence, President Barack Obama's election corresponded with a surge in violence from the right. From 2009 to 2016, right-wing extremists were responsible for 106 terror attacks and plots, nearly double the 58 right-wing incidents that occurred in the 8 years prior. These tend to be more lethal than left-wing attacks, which generally target specific individuals, such as the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last year, or the assassination attempt on Trump in the West Palm Beach golf course. Right-wing extremists, by contrast, are more likely to target whole groups. In the past decade, in the United States, 36 left-wing attacks have killed 13 people, whereas 152 right-wing attacks have killed 112. Full stop. You see what they're doing? They're doing the same thing everyone else does. I don't care about your nebulous right wing. White supremacists and I have almost nothing in common politically. Now, maybe they might argue for tax policy or something, but that's not what we're talking about. Charlie Kirk kicked white supremacists out of his events. So when you find some white supremacists say a right-wing extremist did this, that has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. However, when Luigi Mangione, accused of, killed Brian Thompson, the entirety of the left either defended or supported it outright. They sold merch in his honor. They dance for him. When Charlie Kirk was killed, default normie liberals posted messages saying, I get it's wrong, but Charlie was a racist, bigot, evil, and worse. Staunch liberals in the far left celebrated his death. We are not the same. Do not give me this. You cannot lump in white supremacists with run-of-the-mill mega conservatives who are probably, I got to be honest, mostly out of shape and aren't going to be able to engage in any kind of physical activity as it is. And I'm saying that somewhat facetiously as a joke, but the left should agree because that's the joke they make.
It's like lumping in Islamist terrorists with the left, which they don't do. And that's the other thing this article isn't talking about and is ignoring. And Islamist terrorism is political terrorism. You know, undoubtedly. Is it left-wing? Is it right-wing? It's neither, really. And to say that, a white supremacist is right-wing, again, that's kind of controversial, right? So you can't just say... You're right. There are obviously some far-right people, though, who do attacks. Like, we can't deny that as well.
Sure.
You know, that does happen. That exists. But, as you say, like, the KKK, the white supremacists, and this was a huge thing back in the 50s and the 60s as well, where you had, on one side, you had the black nationalists, who are causing all sorts of problems, killing people, terrorism, and so on. And also you had the KKK. And you had J. Edgar Hoover going after both groups vigorously. And like we said earlier, that's what Trump and the DOJ and should be doing now on the left. I mean, they need to stop this problem, right?
Like the article states, like there has been a lot more right-wing violence, and maybe they are not counting a lot of different groups of people because they don't want to lump those people in with the same ideology because they all believe in different things. But if their ideologies kind of like intersect with each other, then they're basically on the same trajectory. They're basically on the same line. They're toting the same line. They're just not on par with each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say with the Democratic Party, they got a lot of fringe groups in that party that don't even agree with each other, but they're still a part of the Democratic Party because they are a part of the umbrella. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We are growing every day. Let me know if you guys agree with any of these guys or what they said or anything like that. I'm just glad someone's stating it out. Someone's actually doing some homework into it because people need to do their own research, but also like I think the more that the media pushes this out to let people know about what's actually going on in the world, the better that we can look at it and evaluate it with a good lens, right? But yeah, guys, see you guys later. Peace.